the Zoning Board of Appeals. The zoning ordinance empowers us to hear references from the City Council, petitions from other parties for variances and special uses, and appeals from decisions of the zoning administrator. We hear testimony from those in attendance and then make formal findings of fact based on the evidence presented, which consists of testimony and exhibits and on our knowledge of the community. We then either make a determination or recommendation to the City Council. Testimony is taken under oath. Although we do not apply the strict rules of evidence and procedures, we ask that you keep your testimony relevant to the proposal as it relates to the standards contained in the zoning ordinance. When you testify, please state your name and address for the record and print your name on the sign-in sheet provided outside the door. That's for in-person meetings. Each case will be introduced by staff and a list of documents will be read into the record. Then the applicant will give an explanation of the proposal. After that, those who wish to testify as either proponents or opponents of the case will have the chance to do so, and then the applicant will have a chance to respond. Any case not concluded at tonight's hearing will be continued to our next meeting. Melissa, or actually Ashley, right? Will you please call, is Ashley here?
Katie.
Oh, Katie. My apologies. Katie, please call the roll.
Absolutely. Member Miranchov.
Here.
Member Cullen, or Chairperson Cullen. Member Zekin. Member Puctel.
Present.
Member Zordon.
Here.
Member Aravalo.
Here.
Member McCauley.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Katie. And now any members that were absent from the last hearing, please certify for the record that they have read the transcript on any matters that were continued to tonight's hearing. I don't believe there were any items continued to tonight's meetings. We can skip that part. I will now swear in anyone who plans to give testimony in any of the cases scheduled for tonight.
Max, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
You.
If we could first do a vote for suspension of the rules to hold a digital meeting, please.
Thank you.
So I move that we suspend the ordinary rules to allow us to meet electronically due to the COVID-19 virus.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Okay, hearing no nays, that will pass and we will continue our meeting electronically. Okay, are we up to the point where we can swear in those that want to give testimony?
Would you like to approve the draft meeting minutes from May 18th, 2021?
Sure, we can do that. While we're on that point, I'm going to actually make a motion for one change on page 45, the final page of the packet. I believe there's a typo where it says that I was the one nay vote, but that was actually member Zordon.
Thank you, noted.
Okay.
I also, Max, if I could, a very minor point. I just don't know if this matters at all, but on the 1731 Howard Street, the applicant is referred to as she, but as I recall, it was a man. Am I remembering that correctly? Okay. We just might want to make that correction.
So
Okay.
with those exceptions noted, I move that we approve the meeting minutes of May 18th, 2021.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh, we do need to do a roll call vote.
Okay.
Member Miranchov,
Yes.
Chairperson Cullen, absent. Member Zekin, absent. Member Puctel.
Aye.
Member Zordon.
Yes.
Member Aravalo.
Yes, but I was not present, so
She's
I
abstaining.
have read,
If you'd like
So I
to,
guess
abstain,
you abstain.
okay, so I abstain.
and Member Macaulay.
Approved.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. At this point, let's swear in those that are here to give testimony. If that is you, please, let's see here. Yeah, so I'm now going to swear in anyone who plans to give testimony in any of the cases scheduled for tonight. If that is you, please unmute yourself. And you can just do this by raising your hand or making a verbal indication. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you'll provide in connection with the cases tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Would you like us to state our name and address for the record as well?
For our guests in attendance, yes.
Sure. Katie Ashball, planner for the city of Evanston, 2100 Ridge Avenue, Evanston, Illinois.
Olga Borowski. I'm the architect. I'm representing the owners. 1632 Keeney Street in Evanston.
Ms. Borowski, does your client intend to speak this evening?
Mina, would you like to speak this evening?
You're
Um,
muted.
Yes, this is Mina. I'm the owner of 3612 Thayer and in Evanston. If necessary, yeah, I can speak.
Okay, would you, I think, does she need sworn in as well? She wasn't on the audio.
Oh,
She
yes,
was
I do.
muted.
Yeah.
Do you swear tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I believe we are ready, Katie, for you to read the first case into the record.
Sure. The first and only item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing to consider a major zoning variation for the property 3612 Thayer Street, CBA case 21 ZMJV-0046. Olga Borowski, petitioner, submits for a major variation to allow an addition to a principal structure in the R2 Single Family Residential District to encroach into the required rear yard by approximately 16 feet, where a 30-foot rear yard is required, or from zoning code section 6-8-3-7-8-4. The Zoning Board of Appeals is the determining body for this case.
Okay, Olga, do you want to state your case at this time?
Sure. Katie, do we have that slide presentation like we did before?
Sure, just a moment.
Put that up.
Melissa, may I share my screen? I promise I won't Zoom bomb.
So I need pictures to talk about things
Okay.
as an architect.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Yeah, we can
Is this-
start. We
You know,
can
if you
start
need
here.
to go to a different slide.
Okay. Okay, so just a quick background. This is 3612 Thayer Street. And it's an atypical lot. It has, it borders Thayer Street on the north, Thayer Court on the east, and an alley on the south. The only direct neighbor is 3616 Thayer to the west. So the lot is atypical. It's 45 feet wide on the Thayer side, and it widens to 121 feet on the alley side. When the house was originally built, it was built with a 52-foot front yard setback, which made original house non-conforming with a 30-foot rear yard setback. Sometime around, was it 2002? A previous owner had put an addition on the back of the house, which resulted in an 8-foot rear yard setback. Around the same time, he also enclosed an old deck, which is why we're here today. So Katie, if you could flip to slide 2. So if you look at, if you see the 2-car garage, and just south of that, there's a room number, says bedroom 4 and a bath 3. So this is the addition that was put on. It's an in-law suite that was put on in 2002. And at the same time, the owner then enclosed an old deck, which the room that says sunroom. This used to be an old deck that the owner just put up some walls and some screens and put a roof over. And it became a screened-in porch. So it was never insulated. It was never properly sealed off. The floor of that sunroom is actually directly above outside air. There's no insulation underneath. It's still built on posts like the old deck was. So it's really become a hazard for the house in terms of energy, because even though there is a duct underneath that's trying to heat and cool it, it just can't keep up with the demand, and the furnace of the house is constantly running, which is resulting in high energy bills. Also, the plumbing for that bath 3 in the in-law suite, the addition that was put on in 2002, the plumbing to that bath 3 runs directly underneath that sunroom. And in the wintertime, those pipes are always in danger of freezing. So the owner is having to constantly keep a space heater down there to keep the pipes from freezing. Because the old deck was built on posts with some wood lattice in between the posts, there's animals are constantly trying to dig under and get under the sunroom for heat, and in the wintertime for shelter. And the owner is having to remove them in the spring. And then lastly, that space isn't very functional because there's only about 9'6" between the back of that fireplace and the screens of the porch. And that space is divided further in half by some columns. So really, the owner can only use that space for storage and some houseplants. So not only is it a hazard to the house in terms of energy, plumbing, animals, it's also not functional. So the idea is that she would like to remove it. And Katie, if you could go to the next one. Next. Thank you. So this is what we're proposing. So Mina would like to demolish the old sunroom, and she'd like to rebuild it on the proper crawl space, insulated, put double pane windows, insulate walls, floor, ceilings, and put in energy efficient windows, while also pushing it 4 feet to the south just to make that room more functional. And she'd like to open it up to the living room, the kitchen, and make it a part of the thermal envelope of the house. So it'll be heated and cooled along with the house. And if you go to the next slide. So this is so the dashed lines is what we're proposing to remove. And this is the existing screened-in porch with a flat roof and some non-insulated inefficient screens. If you go to the next one, this is what we're proposing. We're just replacing it and pushing it 4 feet to the south on a cross space, sloped roof for proper drainage, siding to match existing, and new energy efficient windows. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you. Mina, would you like to add something?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I said, you said it all, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for the architect?
I have one question. It is just thinking, will the owner be willing later on to create another screened porch?
No,
Thank you.
Don't be shy. Muffy, you're muted.
I don't have any questions, but you know, I would comment, but you know, after the records close, I suppose.
I mean, it's kind of a funny case because the requesting a rear yard setback when the rearmost part of the building is already further than what they're requesting is a little funny.
Right.
But the rules are the rules.
No, it seems like it's just a very sensible solution to a poorly designed screened-in porch. I don't see what would be objectionable about this.
Okay, well, if there are no more, oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's, I guess, more of a question for the city, but or to the landowner. Are we aware of any problems with, I know we're below the lot coverage requirement, but any problems with water in the area, particularly in the alley?
We are not. To your point, it meets the impervious surface and building lot coverage issues, but I don't foresee any drainage concerns. And when it did go before Public Works, they didn't have any issues with it at all.
I did notice also that it's a paver system at the very back of the lot, so that will assist in drainage.
Okay, thank you.
Will the addition have its own heating source or just be connected within the larger building envelope of the house?
Plan to connect it to the existing system. And right now, the duct that's under there, so it's really like having a duct under a deck, but it's boxed out, it's insulated, but it's inside a like a plywood box, Mina? The duct
yes,
is?
yes,
So-
it is wood framework.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Same around the pipes. So this is just very, very poorly constructed, and it just has to go.
Okay, well, if there's no more questions from the members, is there anybody else in attendance that wants to make a statement?
Anyone, it appears there's at least 1 to 2 people listening. If you would like to speak, okay. There's one other, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, then I will suggest we close the record, and the board members can feel free to deliberate. I'll start and just say that it seems like a common sense project. It's silly that the owner is spending so much extra effort and time trying to make the energy consumption and the bad scenario out there work. It's a weird lot with an atypical addition on anyway, so this seems like an obvious way to close in that central space of the floor plan and make it more of a roundish shape, which will make everybody's life better.
I agree. I think this is a reasonable solution to a site condition and a pre-existing building, pre-existing before the current owner. That this is a reasonable solution to make it a more usable space.
I agree. I don't have any problems with this project. It's a very reasonable solution, so I would vote yes.
Okay, barring any more comments, what I'll do at this point is read through the variation standards, which we need to find are all met in order to grant this variation. If any board members disagree with what I'm reading, just interrupt me at the end, and we'll get your comment in the record.
Vice Chair Pucktall, would you like to close the public hearing, or do you do that after you read the standards? I don't know that it matters, Melissa. Is it which order?
I don't know that we normally even state it. We just state that we've closed deliberations. So I think we're okay.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. My apologies.
It's all good. Okay, so for a variation to be approved, the ZBA must find that the proposed variation does all these 7 things. Number 1, will not have a substantial adverse impact on the use, enjoyment, or property values of adjoining properties. Standard met. The building addition is intended to serve the existing permitted use, a single-family dwelling, and is not visible from any adjacent right-of-way. Number 2 is in keeping with the intent of the zoning ordinance. Standard met. The proposed addition will allow an existing structure to be improved upon so that it remains functional for current and future occupants as a single-family dwelling. Number 3 has a hardship or practical difficulty that is peculiar to the property. Standard met. The property is unique in its shape, resulting in an atypical placement of the principal structure, and the addition is remedying a deteriorating condition of the rear south portion of the structure. Number 4, the property owner would suffer a particular hardship or practical difficulty as distinguished from a mere inconvenience. Standard met. Without the requested zoning relief, the existing conditions of the structure would eventually cause further damage to the structure. Number 5, it is not based exclusively upon a desire to extract additional income from the property or public benefit to the whole will be derived. Standard met. The addition is intended to improve the structural integrity of the structure and its functionality as a single family dwelling. Number 6 does not have a hardship or practical difficulty that was created by any person having an interest in the property. Standard met. The property was platted at its size and width before the current ownership. The odd trapezoidal shape and the existing building location together create a hardship for any significant building addition to the rear of the structure not visible from the right of way. Number 7 is limited to the minimum change necessary to alleviate the particular hardship or practical difficulty. Standard met. The addition is the minimum proposed to achieve the structural improvements necessary for the existing structure. Okay, with that, can I have a motion to grant the variation? And I will call on people.
I move that in the case of 3612 Thayer Street, 21 ZMJV-0046, I move that we approve the variation for a rear yard setback.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Okay, the motion passes. Congratulations, Olga and Mina.
Thank you.
And city staff will follow up with next steps for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that is the final item on the agenda. We can have a motion to adjourn, but it might be appropriate for someone to make a motion to congratulate Muffy for her years of service on
Thank
the
you so
zoning
much,
board of
Max.
appeals, which I would happily second.
And I'll miss you guys terribly. No, in fact, it, you know, this is a really good group here. And, you know, I think that it's, everyone is very, as I said to Melissa earlier today, everyone is very even-handed and thoughtful in listening and offering their perspectives. And yeah, I'm sure that you will have smooth sailing as you continue with consolidations and whatnot. So best of luck to everybody. If you get out to Sonoma, give me a buzz.
I will be missing you, Muffin. Thank
What's
you.
that?
You will be missed. Thank
Oh, well, thank you, Carol. That's nice. But you know, the last of the blowhards. Anyway, it's been great serving with you all. And again, best of luck going forward.
Thank you. Thank you,
You
Muffin.
too, you too, Mary.
And with that, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? And we are adjourned.
Good night, all.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good job, Max.
Thanks, bye.